10 years ago, I was out on my own in the paralegal program at the local technical college and going through a miscarriage. I miscarried at 21 weeks pregnant the summer before I started college. I was going back to school at 26 years old. Life took over. I was in a toxic relationship when I graduated high school and for a few years after. So I worked full time and put off my dream of going to college. I was excited and nervous. I have 2 anxiety disorders, so this was a huge step. I was taking 2 semesters of electives while waiting to start the paralegal program. But during my second semester, in the spring, my grandpa became very ill and passed away. So not only was I still grieving the loss of my baby and adjusting to college, but I lost one of my biggest supporters. It felt like I lost a piece of my heart when he passed away. A few days before he died, I was in his hospital room and he said to me, "Now you go on and graduate, you can do this." So I swore to him I would, knowing he might not even make it through the night. After he passed and the funeral was over, we were all left to grieve in our own way. For me, that was diving into books, even after the semester ended, and taking a few summer classes so I didn't have much free time. One day, shortly after he passed away, I was working on a homework assignment when the lamp on my side table next to the side of my couch suddenly went off. At first I thought the light bulb burned out, so I grabbed a new one, but that didn't make a difference. It was a run-down, very old apartment, so then I just figured it was a short somewhere and said out loud, "Just another day in paradise." Since it was dark out and this was the only light in the living room, I couldn't continue reading the textbook and had to switch to doing some discussion board posts on my online courses. It took about 10 minutes, but the lamp finally came back on. Another incident occurred one afternoon a few days later, while again I was sitting on the couch working on an assignment. I didn't have much of a social life. I was trying to make my grandpa proud, so I kept my nose in the books. The lamp started flickering. "Not this again. I really need to get this done," I said out loud. But this time, the light didn't go out. It kept flickering, on and off, never staying off more than a second or two. At the time, I didn't think much of it. I honestly lived in a pretty terrible apartment, so I figured it was just another wonderful new feature. Great, flickering lights. I'll add that to not having a running refrigerator and the non-functioning kitchen sink, I thought, rolling my eyes. Luckily, it was still light out, and I was able to finish what I needed while the light continued to flicker for a few minutes. It happened every few days for a couple of weeks. This is where my part of the story ends. I experienced the lamp flickering or shutting off altogether for quite a few weeks. Nothing really besides that. But it's not where this story ends. Before we dive into the next part, could you all do me a huge favor and like this video? It really helps tell the algorithm we're here. I don't usually ask in the middle of a video, but it would really help. Now let's continue. It was about 3 weeks later. My parents and I were going up north to visit my grandma, just to see how she was doing and make sure there wasn't anything she needed done around the house. She lived about an hour away, so we couldn't go every day, but after Grandpa died, we made it a point to go more often. I was catching up with Grandma, sitting in the recliner in Grandpa's spot, rocking back and forth. She was telling me about different people who had stopped in to check on her shortly after he passed, and about what she'd been up to. As I was rocking in Grandpa's chair, she looked over and said, "Your grandpa has been checking in on me. His touch lamp over there lights up off and on when I'm sitting here watching TV. It also lit up during the Packer game, so I definitely knew it was him then," she said. I must have made a face because she said, "What, don't believe me? Think I'm crazy?" No, actually, for the last few weeks, my lamp in the living room, that I always sit next to, kept flickering, and the first time, it turned off all the way. He must have been learning how to use his powers, I laughed. Grandpa had a touch lamp exactly like the one in the picture, the flying eagles. He loved anything with eagles or American flags, or both. And side note, when I searched eagle touch lamp for this video, this image appeared first, and none of the other ones even looked similar. I thought I'd share another one of my own stories, because the holidays always make me think of my grandparents, who have now both passed away. I know it's a shorter story, but I figured it was worth sharing. Thanks for hanging out with me. If you have a paranormal story to share for an upcoming video, email it to the address in the description below. As always, please like the video. It really helps tell the algorithm we're here. Subscribe if you haven't. I've been uploading every day since the end of September. And with that, see you tomorrow, friends.